Hi, Robert. My name is Dennis Davila from Puerto Rico. It's so nice to meet you officially. I know we have been talking behind the scenes. So, it has been really fun these few minutes. And congratulations on Jackpot. Man,
Thank you.
I wasn't expecting anything from this movie because it's a new concept. Is something that hasn't been done. I believe it hasn't been done. And the premise of Jackpot is actually extremely interesting for me because you have a lottery winner that has to survive at sundown to claim the prize. And
Right.
where do you get this idea to
That's a
write
great
this
question.
script?
Well, my background is in video games. I've been a writer and designer in games almost 20 years. And when you're trying to come up with a new game, the thing that you're really looking for is like a single rule that is an
Mm-hmm.
engine that makes different types of fun. So
Mm-hmm.
this idea originally, I was working on a game for myself, and I had this idea as a game mode, and I thought, you know what, this actually I think will be even more fun if we did this as a movie. So uh, wrote the script, and we were very lucky that it got into the hands of this incredible cast, incredible director Paul Feig, John Cena, Awkwafina, Simu, amazing cast. And as you rightly say, they've really done something special here.
Yeah, I mean, so it was a video game at first,
It,
and
it,
then
it wasn't a game. I was just thinking about
oh,
games
about
and
doing a
that
game
this
about it.
idea of this particular rule. I thought, well, that would be really fun. That like if you win the lottery, anyone else who has a losing ticket has 24 hours to kill you and take the money.
You know, I don't know why, but it reminded me to The Purge or something like that. I don't know why. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Uh
it's interesting because we've seen lots of movies that are about very dark and miserable
huh.
dystopias, but this is really about how kind of stupid and ridiculous dystopia can be as well.
I know. And then you make like small social commentary on the Hollywood life. I got that from the very first glimpse. Like, oh, we are doing this, in Los Angeles, and everything about the audition and all that stuff, and how mean people can be.
Yeah, it's a side of LA that you don't often see in film, which is sort of the exploitative side of the business. Is a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of it. And the thing that got me and Paul Feig, the director, really excited about doing this together is that two things. Number one is we're both very interested in making stories that are about the importance of kindness. And really, this
Mm-hmm.
movie is like it's a love letter to kindness in an unkind world.
Yeah.
The other thing that we were both passionate about is that before we even met, both of us were independently going back and watching old Jackie Chan movies
Oh,
because
nice.
the thing that we love about Jackie is that his action is it's not about the bloodshed, it's about the joy and the circus of action and performance. So we're really trying to bring that sensibility back in this movie.
Yeah, I laugh so much, with
Thank you.
the fighting sequences, especially the ones from Aquafina.
Yeah,
The
it's
the
great.
the actually the first one, just she's auditioning. I'm gonna be talking with spoilers here,
Bring it on.
but when she goes to the audition and she just she's the winner, she doesn't know what is happening, and then all these women that are also auditioning, their actresses, are trying to fight her, and then she goes to the the karate room,
Right.
and to me it was great, the transition from karate to yoga,
Yeah.
because it's so opposite. It's And then everybody's just running around and it's just pure craziness, and I was like, oh, this is really good. This
Thank
is
you.
really good. I
Thank you.
really
I think
like that.
all great action design it is founded, I think, on two principles. One is having the rule. So, for example, like if you say, "Oh, in this fight, the hero has their arm tied behind the back," just as an example, you know that person has to be creative, and we're going to learn who that character is and how they engage with that unique problem. The other part is making sure that when you're unfolding an action sequence, you're going from the frying pan into the fire. Things always get harder
Mm-hmm.
and harder and harder. You think, oh, I've solved it, but actually it's getting worse. So as you rightly say there, yeah, she comes from the audition accidentally because this is all taking place in like a YMCA type of place, ends up in the karate studio, ends up in the yoga studio, and the fight gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
It was really good. How do you balance, the elements of action, comedy, and you even have like thriller here on the script? What challenges did you face when you sat down? Because you already have the initial idea, which is, somebody wins the lottery, everybody wants to kill that person to take the prize. But how do you add these elements, and especially with such a premise that somebody wants to kill you, that could actually go to horror, but you decided that let's have action, let's have comedy, and let's blend all these elements in the script.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because yes, that is a kind of like a scary premise, I suppose. But the truth is, all comedy needs real stakes. If there's nothing at stake, you don't feel the tension, the frizz of people trying to solve a problem and doing it well or doing it badly, depending on whether it's comedy or whether it's thriller. And also, it's easy to do something that has comedy elements when you have such incredible comic talent. I mean, Paul Feig is an icon in comedy. John Cena, I think, is, he's the best comic actor working today, the king of comedy. Awkwafina, hilarious. But what's great about both of those two performers is that both John and Awkwafina are truly, truly great dramatic actors as well, which means that there's a groundedness to their performance, even though it's wild and it's crazy. You can tell that it matters to them. And that's the thing that keeps you in the push-pull between comedy and thriller.
That's great. That's great. And, John has evolved so much since he began, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, I don't know, 15 years ago. With I think his first movie was The Marine. And, it wasn't that good. He was good, but, it wasn't that good. But, man, John Cena has evolved so much. He can do anything. I believe he can do anything. He's one of these wrestlers. Not many wrestlers have done, the transition from being a wrestler to actor.
That's so remarkable about John is that, yes, people know he's very kind because of the Make-A-Wish stuff. We know he's very physical from the wrestling. What I think a lot of people don't know is that he is a highly, highly, highly intelligent man. He, every minute that he's not in front of the camera, he's in the trailer. He's taught himself Hindi, taught himself Mandarin, teaching himself jazz piano. The man is very, very, very smart. And yeah, is incredibly humble and modest about that. Is not pushing it in everybody's face. Really a great, admirable type of guy.
Nice. Can we talk about, the collaboration with Paul and, how he directed the movie? How do you think the script evolved when he came on board, or did it stay basically the same? Did you adjust anything?
Well, it's interesting because Paul does his sort of polish on the script. So yes, there's an element of us collaborating on the page. But the thing that Paul really enjoys most of all is having a very sort of open and inclusive shooting style, which allows for the actors to ad-lib and throw some stuff in.
Nice.
There's lots of jokes in there. I put my hands up and say there are lots in there that I didn't write, but that's because on the day John says something funny, or Awkwafina says something funny, or Simu has some clever idea, or Paul has an idea. And I think that the joy of working with that team is that none of us are possessive over ownership of it. It's can we together improve this thing?
Yeah, definitely. That's great. That's great. Not many directors, I believe, are open to do that. Like include recommendations from the actors or something like that. Some of them like that, some of them not.
Paul used to be an actor, so he's many years ago before he became a director was an actor, and a great actor, I should add, by the way. But I think going through that experience himself really teaches him, first of all, about the value that actors can bring. That's not just saying the dialogue.
Yeah.
But also he's very sympathetic to how hard it can be emotionally to be an actor, and to make room for their creativity is a way to help them feel relaxed to get into the process.
Yeah, definitely. So you obviously you got Paul, and then you got this, amazing cast: Awkwafina, John Cena, Simu Liu. Do you had them on your mind when you wrote the script, or it happened? How was the process?
Well, it's interesting because when I was writing the script, in movie terms, the process of this movie happened pretty quick, which is that from the day I came up with the idea to the day that we finished shooting was about 3 years. That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And when I was writing it, before I met Paul, because eventually the script went to Paul, the movies that I was going back and watching was Bridesmaids and Spy, which both of those two movies are, to me, perfectly encapsulate what we're trying to capture in this movie, which is about friendship and honesty and kindness and joy, and also about action and genre filmmaking that he did so well in Spy. So for me, it was like, whoa, wow, what are the odds of me watching these two movies to say, okay, this is the benchmark we're going to try and achieve, and then for the very guy who directed them to get attached to it.
Nice. The film is set in to 2030, right? Why 2030? Why do you went like, I don't know, maybe you wrote this 3 years ago? Why do you went like 9 years above in the future?
I think it's that we didn't want to do sci-fi that was about a whole world that had changed, which is let's say 100 years in the future, maybe the whole world changed. This is really about a slight tweak on where we are today. So we talk about this as like, I think Paul describes it as very, 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 very near future. That's the genre we're in.
Yeah, I do think that there are many elements there that can be possible. I don't know about the lottery, the ticket that guy. That's crazy. Yeah. But that was a good element. Where do you come up with that?
The ticket? I think it was the visual design of the ticket really comes from the utilitarian design of the ticket, which means in order for it to function in the way that we need it to function for the rules for the story, you have to say, okay, well, it needs to be able to do this, so we need it to be able to do this. And so you kind of work the visual design from the necessities that the story implies.
And if I'm not mistaken, it activates when the person that is a winner arrives to the room, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, when Awkwafina gets to the yoga studio, their ticket begins to beep.
It's that when she takes it out of her pocket, she doesn't know her thumb is on the thumbprint. The thumbprint is what activates it and identifies you as the user.
Yeah. All right. Yes. So this is my last question, because this is a quick interview, and then we can continue to talk behind the scenes. With the film's imminent release, what are your expectations for the audience reaction?
Well, I think the best way to answer that is that everybody who worked on this movie made it with enormous joy in our hearts. And I think that when you have that much joy in the people who are making it, that finds its way into the veins and the capillaries of the movie. And I hope that joy transfers to the people who watch it.
Nice. That's a great question. That's a great answer. I thank you for your time, Rob. It has been amazing. I had so much fun with this movie. I'm gonna be recommending it and doing a full review soon. So I'll send you and all the working team the coverage. As a film critic, I appreciate all the behind the scenes, and not many people know the behind the scenes of doing a movie. And I know it's very hard. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of people. So I have a massive respect for you as a writer, directors, the production team, the stunt team. They don't usually get named. And this is why I love talking to people, behind the scenes. So thank you.
My pleasure. And thank you for saying that. And just as a quick thing on the end, one of the great joys of making this movie, because Paul and I both love the stunt community, it's not often that they get to do comedy. And that to us, we're really excited, because they're usually on the chain of like, oh, we got to be serious and we got to be like SWAT guys or whatever, but here to be just off the chain and go crazy, and all of them get to do like Jackie Chan physical comedy stuff. So much happiness on that set. It was wonderful.
That's great. Well, Rob, thank you so much, and I really wish you well in your career.
Thank you.
Take care.